EIF experiences. That picture is a very classic one. I really do not know who is the original author, but it's an African proverb that we find in many African languages. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. That is the essence of our understanding of partnerships at EIF. What do some scholars say about partnerships? It's basically an opportunity that link actions of diverse actors which operate at different scales and that provide the required flexibility to also deal with the uncertainties of the future. And for us at EIF and in Namibia, our existence is very short, only 13 years almost. So many of the aspects that the CEO was presenting today, we are beating new ground. So as a result, we are almost learning every day. And we do not claim to possess all the skills and expertise that are required to achieve what we have achieved. Lots of these achievements are built on the foundation of partnership. So that's the one definition that I found comes from some paper that was written on some partnership work that is being done in Mozambique. The second one speaks to the need of partnerships. You know, there must be some need for people who want to cooperate to see the need for cooperation. Firstly, the potential for synergy. That would say that the sum is bigger than the parts. If I work alone, I may run fast, but if I work with the group, I may walk far, basically. That's the first element of our understanding of partnership. And the partnership also involves development and delivery of strategies. Very key to the presentation that the CEO has made. We operate in a national setting where strategies, where we need to align our programs and strategies with the national objectives. So from that perspective, for EIF, collaboration and partnerships are not options. In fact, requirements for us, those are prerequisites. Why do I say that? Why do I say that? First and foremost, many stakeholders, and I do a lot of traveling and stakeholder engagement. A lot of stakeholders would misunderstand EIF maybe as a civil society entity, as a donor entity. We are not. We are a state-owned entity. We are designed as a fit-for-purpose entity whose primary aim is to access resources, leverage resources, and make resources available, put those resources, financial expertise, at the disposal of our partners and stakeholders who have the capacity to roll out these resources. That also cut very deep into the presentation that the CEO made before me. Secondly, also a special fit-for-purpose entity that follows resources wherever they are, not limited to Namibian resources, but accessing pots of financial resources globally, multilateral, bilateral. That was the problem I had with the assignment that I was given, because we don't focus only on multilateral partnerships. We focus also on bilateral partnerships, We focus also on private sector partnerships, but we are fit for purpose entity that tracks resources, that do surveillance on opportunities, access those resources, bring them, and then put them at the disposal of our stakeholders and partners to make meaning of those resources. Secondly, why do we have to, thirdly actually, forge partnerships as EIF? Our size. We have not been built, we have not been wired to become an amorphous organization with footprints in all 14 regions. We have been designed to operate at IBEX level. And again, why have we been structured like that? To draw on skills and expertise and structures of existing partners. Your local authorities, like the colleague has raised, your civil society entities, and not to forget regional councils and government entities. So our size is basically also one of the reasons why partnerships are very important for EIF. Lastly, cross-cutting mandate. Again, the CEO touched on it. Our definition of environment is way broader than your fauna and flora. It cuts across a wide range of sectors. There is no way under the sun that one small entity will have the capacity, the skill, and the resources to be able to deliver services in all those sectors. Again, we would be depending on partnerships that we forge with our partners and stakeholders with mandates, legal mandates, capacity mandates, and any form of mandates within different sectors. So for those reasons, for EIF, forging, building, and maintaining partnerships is like a requirement. It's an operational prerequisite. And when we speak about partnerships from EIF's perspective, I mean, this meeting is a testimony to that. It's one aspect it's one thing to pay lip service to partnerships, to acknowledge a partner in a report that you write, or to have meetings with the partner. But maintenance of partnerships is also very important. And what we are doing through this stakeholder engagement is one element of maintaining our relationships with our partners. So let's look at what are our experiences. Firstly, country ownership is a very important aspect of our partnership building. All our products, all our results, all our programs and strategies, if they are not aligned with the national development plans, national policies, and national institutional frameworks, will not yield desired results. So our partnerships, first and foremost, is built on that foundation of country ownership. Your national development plans, your Harambe prosperity plans, your Vision 30, and all the other necessary sectoral plans. That's what our EIF services and products are premised on. Partnerships, again, I alluded to the impossibility of one entity having all the skills and the resources that are required. Through forging partnerships, we are able, like we have done with the CBNRM sector, to pool resources and expertise to basically pursue positive solutions and approaches and make a good effort at achieving transformative climate change action. The lady with the goats, the delivery of that small stock scheme in the Kunene region was basically built on the ongoing small stock deployment program that Ministry of Agriculture and Land Reform has been doing for a number of years. So there was no reason for EIF to come up and established a parallel program. So it's being supported by the Tapis Department of Ministry of Agriculture and Land Reform in the Kunene region. And same goes with the grant facility under the Direct Access Program that was deployed through the structures that the CBNRM colleagues have put in place. Meaningful relationships. I come back to that one. It's one thing to pay lip service, another thing to maintain and service relationships with stakeholders. Our experience. Meaningful relationships. I can give an anecdote. When sometimes staff members of the EIF have to travel over 8 time zones to go and meet with a specific donor like 2-3 times a year, our board will have very good questions that they are justified to ask. But why do you have to do that? But if you look at the history of Green Climate Fund, not many African countries have succeeded in accessing that number of funding from GCF. It does not happen organically. Not many African countries, or let me say developing countries, have had 3 missions from GCF visiting and looking at the work being done in Namibia. Unlike in our case, we've hosted 3, but not many other countries have achieved that. And all that boils down to maintaining and servicing good stakeholder relationships. The scale is also very important. Climate change and sustainable development solution challenges are not limited to national boundaries. They are also not limited to continental boundaries. So because of the scale, the structures that are being provided by the government and the conventions are there for Namibians to take advantage of and to access benefits that come from it. EIF makes a good effort in terms of taking advantage of those platforms that are provided to access those benefits. The last and a new area in terms of our partnership building is that traditionally, the partnerships and the relationships have been north to south or south to north, basically relationships between established, richer, bigger entities and poorer country entities, which has its strengths and weaknesses. But increasingly, we are also now forging south to south partnerships. There is so much that developing country professionals, similar entities, and governments can learn from each other. So EIF has been a very critical player, at least in Southern Africa, in terms of sharing our experiences of accessing GCF funding, sharing our experiences with climate change financing with sister entities in the sub-region. We have supported the Angolan entity, we have supported Eswatini, we have supported Botswana entities, and we have very close relationships with DBSA in Southern Africa, because charity also starts at home. We support entities within Namibia that aspire to achieve GCF accreditation, your agri-banks, your bank vendors, your development bank of Namibia. That is how EIF experiences are, so that as a critical mass of Namibians can access funding that comes under climate change banner. So I would basically conclude my input with those small, short, but practical experiences from where EIF sits in terms of forging, building, and maintaining mutually beneficial partnerships with our partners and stakeholders. Taking into account that the CEO has basically given all the details about the types and forms of partnerships that we have in place.